The stars once sang of balance, but tonight their light feels afraid. The galaxy breathes under crimson skies, where the Sith banners flutter like dark wings. Have you ever felt the night listen? Can silence remember the sound of peace? A storm moves across the heavens, whispering through the ruins of fallen temples. The Jedi are gone. The Sith rule from their obsidian citadels, and the Force itself feels heavy, as though it mourns. Far beneath the burning moons of Morvath, a lone figure walks. His cloak ripples in the wind, like a shadow remembering its master. Kale Varen, 24, male. Once a Jedi Knight, now nothing but a name carried by dust. He looks to the horizon, where the crimson spires of the Sith capital pierce the clouds. Somewhere within those towers, a young woman watches the same sky. Lyra Solon, 22. Female, a Sith apprentice with eyes that dare to dream. The story begins between their two breaths, the faint moment where fear becomes wonder and darkness almost feels like peace. The world turns slower on nights like this. Kale finds shelter inside an ancient hangar where forgotten ships sleep under centuries of dust. He lights a small flame, its glow dancing on metal wings. Memories return, voices of masters long gone, laughter of friends who never made it home. Outside, the storm howls like an old ghost. The Force hums faintly, soft but uncertain, as if testing him. In the stillness, he whispers a name he can no longer bear to remember. In the Crimson Citadel, the Sith gather beneath black banners. Their voices rise like thunder. Lyra kneels at the center of the hall, her heart beating too loudly in her chest. Darth Malvor's gaze feels colder than metal. He speaks of conquest, of extinguishing the last of the Jedi. Yet in her chest, something trembles, a quiet disobedience that feels too much like light. Beyond the Citadel's walls, the galaxy waits in silence. Starships drift like shadows through the void. On a nearby moon, a beacon flickers, an old Jedi distress signal. Kale stares at its fading pulse, torn between hope and caution. If it is real, others might still be alive. If not, it may be a trap. Either way, he cannot turn away. That same night, Lyra watches the beacon from her chamber window. She senses something in it, a vibration, a whisper, not of darkness but of balance. Her heart quickens. She knows she should report it to her master, yet she does not. Instead, she closes her eyes and listens. Somewhere out there, a soul calls to her, and the Force stirs. Morning comes slowly on the outer moon of Velis. The storm has passed, leaving silver clouds drifting over the endless dunes. Kale wakes beneath the wreckage of a forgotten cruiser, his body sore, his heart heavier than the armor he once wore. He walks toward the beacon's signal, guided by the hum of the Force, a sound so faint it feels like memory. Every step takes him deeper into the wastelands, where sand hides what time refused to bury. Beneath the silence, he senses presence. Someone watching. Far above the same moon, in the silent corridors of her ship, Lyra Solon awakens from a dream. She dreamt of water, though she has never seen any. The Force calls her, not in command, but in invitation. Defying her orders, she programs her ship to trace the beacon's signal. She watches the coordinates appear in crimson light. For the first time, she feels afraid, not of punishment, but of truth. Kale reaches the source of the beacon, a half-buried temple carved from obsidian and bone. The entrance breathes faint blue light, pulsing like a heartbeat. He senses no life within, yet the air hums with ancient voices. He steps through broken pillars and the temperature drops. In the silence, whispers begin, echoes of Jedi who once trained, who once laughed, who once died here. Kale lowers his head. The Force moves around him like wind through forgotten leaves. Meanwhile, the Sith fleet stirs. Darth Malvar stands before the galaxy's holographic map, tracing lines of conquest with a hand gloved in black metal. His voice is smooth, almost gentle, as he commands his hunters to find the Jedi survivor. He senses betrayal somewhere near, the faint scent of light among his own. Lyra's absence has not gone unnoticed. Night again. Lyra's ship descends through the clouds, breaking through thunder toward the barren moon. Lightning paints her face with fleeting light. She lands near the ancient temple, unaware that Kale is inside, only meters away. Both can feel each other. The faint pull of destiny, like two halves of a single breath. The force trembles, as though holding its own. The air between them hums like a held breath. Kale senses her presence before he sees her. Faint ripples in the force, cold yet trembling with warmth. Lyra steps through the fog, crimson robes whispering against stone. They meet beneath the fractured archway of the ancient temple, two souls who should have been enemies. Neither raises a weapon. The silence is louder than any storm. For a heartbeat, time seems unsure which path to take. Kale's voice breaks the silence. Soft, low, uncertain. You shouldn't be here. Lyra answers. Neither should you. Her tone carries the calm of someone raised in shadows, yet her eyes flicker with something gentler. They circle each other like echoes. Neither striking. The temple seems to listen. The ancient walls remembering what trust once sounded like. Outside, thunder murmurs, and the first drops of rain fall in a world that has forgotten water. They find shelter deeper within the temple where the roof still holds. Kale kneels beside a broken droid, coaxing its faint light to life. Lyra watches, curious, silent. For the first time, she sees the Force not as domination, but as care. Gentle hands repairing what others destroyed. The droid flickers and hums softly, projecting the image of a Jedi child learning to meditate. The sound of laughter, old and distant, fills the chamber. Both of them stop breathing. Later, they share words by the flicker of a small flame. Kale speaks of the old days, of peace and of loss. Lyra listens, her gaze distant. She had been taught that Jedi were deceivers, that compassion was weakness. But this man before her, the calm in his eyes, the way he speaks of kindness as strength, confuses everything she knows. Outside, the rain grows heavier, washing red from the sky. The temple breathes again. When the storm fades, dawn returns with pale light. Lyra steps to the temple threshold, watching the clouds drift. She feels lighter, though she doesn't know why. Behind her, Kale stands quietly. Not speaking, simply letting the silence speak for them both. Two souls from opposite sides of the Force, standing in the same morning light. Somewhere beyond the clouds, the galaxy still burns, but here for a moment, there is peace. The peace does not last. Morning light fades beneath the shadow of Sith patrol ships cutting across the sky. Kale and Lyra sense them at once, the cold vibration of danger approaching. The Force stirs uneasily between them. Kale looks to her. They're searching for someone. Lyra answers quietly, for both of us. Without another word, they move. Two fugitives bound by something deeper than alliance, guided by instinct and trust that neither yet understands. They find shelter in a cavern beneath the cliffs. It smells of stone and old rain. Kale kneels to light a small fire, while Lyra watches the flicker dance across her hands. I was told the Jedi feared darkness, she whispers. Kale smiles faintly. We feared what we became when we stopped listening to it. The words linger in the air like sparks, bright then gone, leaving warmth behind. As night deepens, the sound of engines hums faintly outside. Lyra steps toward the cave mouth, seeing the Sith searchlights sweep across the dunes. Her heart beats too fast. Kale touches her arm, the gesture instinctive. We'll find another path, he says softly. His touch lingers a second longer than it should. She turns her gaze from the sky to him. In that quiet, something unspoken forms. Trust, fragile but real. Far above the moon, aboard his dreadnought, Darth Malvor senses the disturbance through the Force. His fury is cold, deliberate. She has strayed, he murmurs. Around him, the air itself seems to bend with his anger. He orders the fleet to descend and burn the surface until the traitors are found. His voice does not rise, but the stars seem to tremble. The ground shakes as the Sith fleet begins its descent. Lyra and Kale race across the canyon floor, guided only by instinct and the faint shimmer of the Force. Ahead lies an ancient monolith, etched with runes older than both Sith and Jedi. It hums faintly beneath the sand. Kale feels it calling, a whisper older than light. Lyra feels it too, something neither darkness nor light could ever claim. Together, they touch the stone. The ground answers. The monolith opens with a low, resonant hum, revealing a spiral staircase descending into the heart of the moon. Kale and Lyra move cautiously, torches flickering against walls inscribed with symbols that shift like living fire. The air is warm here, alive with unseen energy. Kale touches the carvings and feels them pulse beneath his fingers. Lyra whispers, "This place. It's neither Sith nor Jedi." He nods slowly. It's something older, something waiting to be remembered. Their footsteps echo downward, like the heartbeat of the galaxy itself. They reach a chamber at the base of the stairway, a hall of mirrors and memory. Dozens of crystal fragments float in the air, humming softly. Each one reflects moments of the past. The birth of stars, the fall of temples, the tears of masters and apprentices. Kale steps closer, mesmerized. In one fragment, he sees himself as a boy, training beside Master Ornanday. In another, he sees Lyra kneeling before Darth Malvor. Their reflections touch, light and shadow blending into one shape. From the light, a voice emerges, not spoken, but felt. It is calm, ageless, filled with sorrow and hope. The Force was never meant to be divided, only misunderstood. Kale and Lyra stand still, the sound reverberating through their bones. The crystals swirl faster, forming a great sphere of light above them. For a moment, they see what the galaxy forgot. The Force as one river, flowing through both dark and light, through fear and love alike. Lyra closes her eyes, tears tracing her cheeks. Outside, the Sith have found them. The ground trembles as bombardment begins, shaking the ancient hall. Lyra looks up, fear and clarity mingling in her eyes. "They'll destroy this," she says. Kale answers, "Not if we understand it first." He reaches out, placing his palm on hers. Together they focus not on fighting, but on balance. Light and shadow merge around them, forming a shield not of strength, but of harmony. The storm subsides. Dust settles. Where destruction should have reigned, there is stillness. Kale and Lyra open their eyes to find the temple untouched, glowing softly with inner light. They realize what the Sith never understood, that power is not taken, but shared. For the first time, Lyra smiles, not with triumph, but with peace. Kale returns the smile, weary yet alive. Above them, a single crystal drifts upward, breaking through the ceiling, releasing its light to the waiting sky. The silence of the temple shatters as the darkness returns. The great doors explode inward, and from the dust strides Darth Malvor, his presence drowning the air in cold gravity. His voice, deep and steady, echoes across the ancient stones. "So, this is where the light hides." Kale steps forward, hand steady on his hilt. Beside him, Lyra's breath trembles, not from fear, but from sorrow. The moment has come. Teacher and student, father and child, darkness and dawn. Lyra speaks first, her voice breaking. "You taught me that mercy is weakness. Darth Malvor's reply is calm. And now you see why. Kale steps closer, his blade unlit. She sees something else now. Truth. Lightning from above cracks through the ceiling, illuminating 3 figures in the stormlight. The Force coils between them, a storm older than war. The battle begins not with rage, but with despair. Darth Malvor ignites his crimson blade, each movement precise, deliberate, heavy with mastery. Kale meets him, blue light against red, sparks and echoes colliding in rhythmic fury. Lyra stands frozen, torn between the 2 halves of herself. The Force screams through her veins. When she finally moves, it is not to strike, but to stop them both. Her voice cuts through the battle. Enough. Both blades halt inches from her heart. Lyra's tears fall freely now. The Force isn't yours, she whispers, looking to Malvor. It never was. He lowers his weapon slowly, confusion flickering in his cold eyes. For the first time, Darth Malvor looks human. Kale lowers his blade, too, and in the sudden stillness, the temple itself exhales. Malvor stumbles back, weakened not by blade, but by realization. His breath rasps through his mask. "You've betrayed me," he murmurs. Lyra shakes her head. "I freed you." He closes his eyes. The Force moves gently around him, not in wrath, but release. His weapon dims. His armor seems to grow lighter. When he falls, he does not fall as a tyrant, but as a man returning to silence. Lyra kneels beside him, hand trembling against his still heart. Kale watches quietly, the storm outside finally easing into calm. Morning breaks over the ruined temple, pale gold spreading across the shattered horizon. Smoke curls upward like sighs, carrying the last echoes of war. Kale stands outside beneath a quiet sky. The galaxy feels changed. Not saved, but softened. Lyra joins him, her crimson robes now dulled by dust, her eyes gentler than dawn. Neither speaks. The silence between them is enough. A silence full of forgiveness, of endings, and of something new beginning. Above them, the twin suns rise together for the first time in decades. They bury Darth Malvor beneath the great monolith. Lyra's hands tremble as she places his broken mask upon the stone. "He believed the Force was something to own," Kale says softly. "He was wrong." She nods, voice barely a whisper. "He wasn't always." The wind carries the dust away, folding the past into silence. The temple hums faintly, as if offering its blessing. Days pass. They repair what they can, tending to the wounded temple, reawakening its ancient light. Kale teaches Lyra the ways of balance, the slow breathing of peace, the listening beyond thought. She learns not as a student, but as a friend. When she laughs for the first time, the sound startles them both. It echoes through the ruins, bright and alive, like something the galaxy thought it had forgotten. One night, Kale looks to the stars and senses the faint presence of others. Jedi scattered, hiding, waiting. The war is over, but the rebuilding has only begun. He turns to Lyra. "We can't stay," she smiles. "Then let's not stay anywhere. Let's go where the Force needs to breathe again." The stars above seem to shimmer, listening. A new beginning forms not from victory, but from quiet purpose. As their ship rises into the starlit sky, the world below fades into peace. The Force flows through the galaxy once more, balanced, breathing, alive. Kale closes his eyes, hearing the hum of the stars. Lyra watches the light stretch into infinity. In that stillness, the universe feels whole again. Not because darkness was defeated, but because it was understood. And as the ship drifts beyond the edge of dawn, the stars begin to sing once more.